Hey guys, it's Jordan with TYT and TYT Politics. A very sunny Monday here on Long Island. I hope everyone's doing all right. I have been busy today. I shot a video blog that will be going up soon that attempts to explain to the Democratic Party why they don't understand their own corruption. It uses some of the footage from Donna Brazil, longtime Democratic insider, who yesterday on This Week with George Stephanopoulos said there's no smoke and she doesn't quite understand what people are so upset about with the Clinton Foundation. So that should be up fairly soon. Another video that is already up is my interview with Cece Hall. She was a former staffer for Bernie Sanders on his presidential campaign. She was going to be working on Our Revolution, the offshoot progressive organization under Bernie Sanders, but she, along with 7 others, resigned a couple days before it launched. That interview is very interesting. She kind of explains how the tax status of Our Revolution basically has paralyzed it to help down ballot candidates such as Tim Canova. I think it goes a little more in depth than other interviews. I saw an interview with one of the staffers who quit on Democracy Now! Hansdy says, I will work for you guys one day. Be prepared. I'm ready. And you should know, with me to my side is another dude who might work with us one day. My friend Sam, who has been helping me out with research for a lot of the video blogs I do. He has uncovered a lot of interesting things with the Clinton Foundation that I then use. So he's been helping me a lot. So I want to, because I'm a self-aware enough person, make sure that all my viewers know how appreciated they are. I think that some videos we've done recently, particularly one I did in Florida at a Debbie Wasserman Schultz event, has ruffled some feathers with people thinking that maybe I'm being a little condescending to older viewers, or that I don't appreciate older viewers, or I'm some young asshole who just kind of is stereotyping older people and the way they think and the way they vote, and it couldn't be further from the truth. I actually, before I joined Young Turks, most of my bosses at my jobs were fairly old. I would say above 50. So some of my mentors in my career are older people. So I don't really want any viewers, because I've read the comments, to think that my reporting is somehow stereotyping older people or in any way dismissing or generalizing that all older people are corrupt and they don't get it and they're disconnected. That wasn't my intention at all. And unlike many journalists, I could totally apologize if it came off that way. So let me tell you what I do think. Based on my reporting, based on being out in the field for the last 9 months, I could tell you that, just not my opinion, data, older Americans, by and large, go for establishment candidates. That doesn't mean Bernie Sanders didn't have a hell of a lot of older Americans. I can't tell you how many senior citizens I met, middle-aged people were feeling the burn. One of my favorite interviews, actually, was the first one I did for the Young Turks. I interviewed a Vietnam veteran who was standing out in 10-degree weather, basically for Bernie Sanders. He was outside the debate in New Hampshire in December. He called out the bullshit of Hillary Clinton and these other people. His name is escaping me, but it was just one of those people. I think he was in his 80s, that you learned from, and where they're at in life, not giving a shit and totally at peace with who they are, rubs off on you a little bit. So I love older viewers, older Americans, and I'm not just saying it so I don't lose viewers, subscribers. I'm saying it because it's true. But what I have to do, what I always try to do, is keep it real. The bottom line is the majority of older Americans support establishment politicians. That's why ultimately Hillary Clinton won. Cornel West said it very well when I saw him in San Diego. If the election was just 45 and under, my brother Bernie would win in a landslide. That's my Cornel West impersonation. So, by and large, most senior citizens, older Americans, in the Democratic primary as well as the general election, go on establishment lines. They go based on what they know. They're kind of used to and accepting of the corruption, of the status quo, of incrementalism as just common knowledge. That's how we get things done. But it's not all older Americans. So I'm making it clear that when I report and I go inside a Debbie Wasserman Schultz brunch and kind of headline it inside the Golden Girls Gala, it's not that I'm trying to poke fun at old people or that I'm saying older Americans are the problem. In my opinion, what the problem is our politicians of all ages and the revolving door between the banks, the lobbyists, corporate America, our media, and of course the politicians. That's the problem. And there's corruption, greed, and general douchebaggery coming from all ages, millennials, middle age, and our older politicians. But if I'm going to report on this gala in the way that I report, I got to keep it real. The average age was probably over 80. I tweeted exaggerating, saying it was average age 102. Maybe that was a little condescending, so my apologies. But at the end of the day, if I'm going to report something, I need to report what I see and what's going on. And Debbie Wasserman Schultz and politicians like her, they lean on for their donors and their most loyal supporters, older Americans. That's just a fact. So how I report that, if it comes off condescending, that's on me. I'll work on it. But honestly, and Emma could attest to this, Eric could attest to this, some of the interviews that have most personally moved me have been with older people, because I think with them, including younger people, you get the most authentic vibe. I just interviewed an older woman, Jackie, on a porch at one of Alan Grayson's campaign headquarters. And she started tearing up while Alan was speaking to people because she was without insurance from age 35 to 65. And for her, Social Security was the first time she had insurance in decades. And it saved her life. She had asthma so bad that she really couldn't breathe. And, she was a feisty person, and she had some sass, and she had some thoughts. And I came away with it really moved by what she said. Another older person I met, on my travels recently was a guy named Fred Frost. He's with CWA Union. He's one of the throwbacks to how unions used to be, when they didn't just sit there and take it up the butt from corporate America and politicians, but they fought back. Unions don't really do that anymore. And Fred Frost, who I lovably call fucking Fred Frost, because that's what politicians call him. They don't like him. I covered him and another guy, Peter, knocking on doors for Tim Canova. And in interviews I had with him, I was very moved and inspired by him. So the bottom line is, I definitely value older viewers, and I definitely want to keep talking to them. It wasn't my intention to condescend or anything like that. I think you can learn a lot from people of all ages. I don't look at it black and white that old people are the problem. It's quite the contrary. I think there's certain sections of America and certain demographics that simply don't get it. And it's partly because they're pretty much doing fine. They're doing okay themselves. So they can go forward, and they don't really see it as, oh yeah, we're in crisis, we need radical change. A majority of them feel, oh, things could be a little bit better, but overall we're in the right direction. So at the end of the day, I think, Irene just said, as a senior myself, I think it has more to do with elitists opposed to regular boomers. Ask them what they were doing in the 60s. She's right. So like I said, it's not all senior citizens. There are wealthy people that are older that they don't see a crisis because they don't feel a crisis. And there are, senior citizens, middle-aged people who do see a crisis because they haven't been benefits to the corruption and the revolving door. So it's really about personal experience. But if you look at the demographics, at the voting that happened during the primary, the bottom line is Hillary Clinton won based on older Americans and African Americans. And African Americans predominantly were older that voted for her. So we can't confuse that. African Americans, by and large, the older section of African Americans voted for her. younger African Americans, Bernie Sanders did very well with. So there was a generational gap during the Democratic primary, both for white people and African American people and Latinos. Older Latinos tended to vote for her, whereas younger didn't. So that's why the movement Bernie Sanders inspired, that's why things like my channel, other independent media are very important, because as more young people get involved, enlightened, inspired, and passionate, there's millions more every 4 years of young people voting, Latino, African American, white, gay, straight, it doesn't matter. And them coupled with their older counterparts that also see we're in a crisis, also value the next generation, also aren't elitists, and really care about we're in this together. Those two generations together will be what pushes progressive politicians into office. That's what I think, and that's what I believe. So I normally don't make videos responding to comments, but I truly saw enough comments and kind of saw that maybe my titles or whatever might have came off the wrong way. So if you don't know, now you know. I love you no matter what age you are. So please keep watching the videos. Keep sending your comments in. Together, no matter what your age, we're going to take down the establishment. TYT Politics, check out the new videos coming up. There's more coming this week, and I will keep you posted where I'll be. I might be following Jill Stein around at some point later in the week. Still working on those details. Thanks, guys.